I made videos criticizing video essays or video game essays and cartoon essays. By the way, today's weather out is just perfect. Like, it's May, it's not June or July yet, so it's not too hot in my area. Anyway, I decided to make those videos because the video essay formula on YouTube is a very frustrating formula. Like, anytime you have a certain opinion, you always risk having some nerd leave like a link to the video essay and saying, oh, you see, this guy said this, so that means what you said is wrong. But outside of the nerds that blindly worship a video game essay, like, imagine, worshiping what some stranger on the internet has to say. But a lot of game essays, they don't even really say anything unique or interesting. Most of them are just summing up the plot to a story, or just pointing out obvious information that you could have figured out from playing a game or watching a movie anyway. Like, I click on a video essay expecting to learn something new, but instead I'm just getting an obvious plot synopsis or something like that. Like, gee, thanks. I mean, I pretty much figured this out. I could have just figured this out by just watching the cartoon. And then people will say, well, these videos are for people that don't want to experience the game, movie, or show or whatever. And I'm like, why? Why would you not want to do that? Like, do you just enjoy having stuff spoiled and ruined for you? Video game essays also have a terrible habit of just dragging out simple information and then expanding it to like a 2-hour long lecture. It's like I'm watching a Jordan Peterson rant or something like that. Now, one of the most common counter arguments that I got under my videos is that, oh, well, do you got to be a professional cook in order to judge food? You see, people like that type of comment because I said something along the lines of, I would rather trust someone who makes a video game than someone who doesn't. In fact, when I made this video, I even said it's okay to judge stuff, just be more humble about it. Looks like someone needs to get their media literacy checked. And I still stand by that. Like, for me, I would much rather talk to and, listen to someone who actually has experience in making a video game over some random YouTuber who does simple editing tricks and talks over video game footage and probably has a useless degree in like gender studies or some nonsense. Like, who would you rather trust? Someone that knows about propane before selling it to you, or someone who doesn't know anything about propane and would most likely get you caught in an explosion? I just don't take critics, and especially essayists, seriously anymore. Like, I would much rather just form my own opinions. And unfortunately, it took me a while to actually come to that realization, because I was also one of those people who used to rely on video game essays to formulate my own opinions. But the whole comparing food to media argument is just a stupid comparison, in my opinion. Like, first of all, with handling food, it can literally mean the difference between life and death. You see, I was an army cook, and we were taught that, if you make bad food, if you don't cook it properly, you could risk making people sick or even worse, dying. And you want to avoid that situation at all costs. With a bad piece of media, you don't really risk dying from it. Like, the devastating effects from seeing a bad piece of media is objectively worse than, getting food poisoning. Food also has a specific set of instructions that you have to follow in order to make the food properly. Video games and other pieces of media are way more subjective. Like, for example, this critic White Light, for example, this dude loves the LARP over Ubisoft games. I personally believe that Ubisoft games are, in fact, every Ubisoft open world game besides Far Cry 3 and Blood Dragons, are very soulless and generic, and they usually have terrible storytelling. I mean, even Far Cry 3's story is not that good. But you see, that's subjective. Some people like open world soulless Ubisoft games, and some people like me don't. The act of making food is way more objective compared to, whether or not you like a video game, which is much more subjective. Also, cooking and making a piece of media like a video game or movie are not comparable, because the thing is, cooking can take about, way less time compared to making a video game or a movie. Cartoons, video games, art, any piece of media objectively takes longer to make compared to actually making food. Not only that, but making media objectively requires a lot more skill compared to cooking. Why do you think something like McDonald's or any fast food restaurant is always open for hiring people? Because at the end of the day, cooking is not really that high skill of a job. Now, there are some cooks that do take a lot of time. However, even the best cooks still aren't skilled when it comes to programming or creating media. In fact, now that I think about it, it's kind of telling if you're one of those people that think cooking and making media are comparable. Because for someone like me, cooking is like super simple and easy. So, if you think cooking, which is super simple and easy, is like making media, which is objectively harder and takes longer to do, then, man, I guess I'm just probably a genius. But hey, you know what? Since making a game and cooking are the same thing apparently, then I guess I'm a professional game developer now. Alright, so since making food is the same as making a video game apparently, I'm going to be making steakums or sliced beef. Now, as of right now, these things are frozen, so I'm going to let them thaw for a little bit, and I'm going to play Batman Arkham City on my PC. Now, the best way to play Arkham City or any of the Arkham games is on PC. That way you get to experience them with 60 FPS. I also feel like the original graphics to Batman Arkham City are way better than the Return to Arkham games. I'm not joking. I literally only have a gaming PC just to play Trails in the Sky 1 and 2, the Arkham games, and the original Silent Hill 2 and Dragon Quest 8. That's pretty much the only reason why I got a gaming PC. I don't regret it though. Alright, these steakums should have, thawed out a little bit by now. So what we're going to do next is that we're going to put on some cooking oil onto the pan. Making food is just like making a video game. By the way, the oil I'm using is canola oil. Alright, next up we're going to turn on the stove. I'm going to put them on, going to put it in between medium and high. They don't need to be that high because these steakums, they cook super fast. And what's awesome about steakums is that you don't even need to season these. They taste good automatically. Also, make sure to turn on your fan, because you don't want to risk setting up the fire alarm, so that fan will help the fan will help reduce the odds of the smoke setting off the alarm. Trust me, I have experience. I know this is obvious, but before making any type of meal, make sure you wash your hands, Yep. Making a video game is like making food. Yeah, I bet this is totally what making a video game feels like. Just gonna let that cook. I'm just gonna add in another one. Moral Orel is one of the best Adult Swim cartoons ever.
Holy, great that Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy that made me go. Why do you say, Soldier Boy, and Superman, and I wanted you with that soldier, I wanted you with that soldier. I don't know the lyrics to the song. This is what making a video game is like. Now, before you enjoy your steakums or whatever you're cooking, make sure you want to clean up the cooking area first, Turn off the stove, leave the fan on for a little bit to get rid of all that smoke, and just start cleaning up your pot or pan, and start cleaning up the surrounding area, because there's like grease and stuff that, popped and ended up like low-key spreading all over the stove and stuff. So just clean up the cooking area, wash your hands again, and just put your delicious steakums into like a microwave or something like that. You can heat them back up again. Or you can eat while cooking, although personally I recommend that, like me personally, I prefer to get the tough part out of the way first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up my area and then I'll start eating. Definitely turn off the stove before you lift of this pot, because you don't want to risk a little flame popping up from underneath, So yeah, before I enjoy these delicious steakums, oh shit, there's a little pop going on from the grease. But before I enjoy these delicious steakums, I'm going to clean up my cooking area. I'm just going to put these in a microwave. It's no big deal. I can just warm these back up. It only takes about 30 seconds. Alright, food is done. Cleaning area is clean. I'm going to enjoy my steakums, and then I'm going to... actually, I got to clean this microwave too. But then I'm going to take a nice shower and play Batman Arkham City. But yeah, it took me about, I don't know, 20 minutes to make these. Totally comparable to making an entire movie or a video game, though. And hey, if you disagree with my videos, that's awesome. Please be sure to mash that dislike button and leave some nasty comments. And don't go outside at all. Just stay indoors all day.